I've got to ask you, because you're not born in the U.S., what does American entrepreneurship mean for you? Because it's something that's very important to me. I love the ideals of this country. I love entrepreneurship. I feel like you're similar, or at least to me, it feels like you're born to be an American entrepreneur, not just an entrepreneur, an American entrepreneur. I
Yeah,
really think that. Is that something you think of, or do you have any thoughts that you'd like to share there?
absolutely. Like US is like an American dream. I very much want to be an entrepreneur, American entrepreneur, and I feel every day that I'm living the American dream. Like particularly from where we started in India, like a small town and lower middle class upbringing. We didn't have a lot of stuff, and one props to the U.S. economy. It's a fair system. That is why people like us, even people like us are able to excel. No corruption, no biases, things like that. So, and I mean, it's actually like mixed reactions, in terms of immigration in this country. You know, whether it's USCIS, DOL, all these guys, why they do all this stuff is also kind of justified. It's not like I like what they're doing, like throwing all these hurdles, making it difficult for people to settle here in the US or be a meaningful, contributing citizen to the US economy and all that. There's a good amount of misuse also. Because of that misuse, these government agencies are being are taking precautions. You cannot blame them, but it's not like a relatively easy or straightforward process for a person from India on a visa to be an entrepreneur here in the US. With that being said, though, like you just need to talk to the right lawyers and stuff like that. Any person, even sitting in India, can do business here in the US. It's not like because you're not a US citizen or a green card, you cannot do business here or you cannot be an entrepreneur here. You can. There are so many different ways to becoming an entrepreneur here, even on a visa, which I pursued some of those options in my path as well. But yeah, it really spooks me up and starts up mixed reactions because I myself have gone through several immigration scares and problems. Luckily, I followed the process and by hiring immigration attorneys and things like that, and them helping me along the way of understanding how to follow the system correctly and do the right things. I'm able to get my green card and settle down, become a permanent resident here and everything. But yeah, I mean, there are plenty of times where there's particularly at one point in time, after my master's period, where I had like a strong desire to stay and prove myself in this country, you know, and my visa is expiring. I'm not able to get a job, and my parents are like, talking like, hey, you are a young guy, you just finished your master's, so you don't have to worry, come back to India. You can become an IAS officer, write UPSC exam. We'll send you to Delhi, write UPSC exam, or you can become like a cop, a super cop, You can become IPS officer, IAS officer. There are plenty of great opportunities here. No need to feel like a failure because you did not get job after doing your master's here in the US or not getting visa. You should not think that this embarrasses you or this defines you. My parents used to tell all this to me in my daily Skype chats with them and all that, so that, at that point in time, there are like a lot of suicides and all that of students who are forced to go back to India because they didn't get a job here in the US and they don't want to show their face to parents. because they borrowed so much money from banks in India to come to US to pay tuition to US universities and study. So, at that point in time, even though my parents are saying that in a positive angle, I used to be, after I hang up with my parents, I used to be even more depressed that I'm making my parents think that way, that I'm not capable of getting a job here, all that sort of stuff. So, given all those kind of circumstances, I feel, if immigration is easier in this country, that would be nice. And there has to be specific visas, which would allow for entrepreneurs, in good faith. Like, if somebody wants to really start a company, let them stay in this country, provide a soft net, for them to land, at least from an immigration status point of view. If someone is really motivated to start a company, they should have a category of entrepreneurship visa that does not need them to put up like a lot of cash or prove financial ability. The person should be able to work in McDonald's and meet their living expenses, pay rent and living expenses, eat food here, and sit here on US soil and build a software application that changes the world. If that kind of a soft net can be provided for genuine cases, at least, that would be a great reform, I would say.